On November 13th, 2016, it looked like the future was finally here. Former number 1 pick Andrew Wiggins, a prospect from Canada who was hyped as Maple Jordan, had struggled his first 2 seasons but was finally putting it together. Watching Andrew Wiggins star against the Los Angeles Lakers with the knowledge that he was just 21 years old, you would think that after this night was over, after Andrew Wiggins had finished with a career-high 47 points and was now averaging over 26 points per game to begin his 3rd season, things were only headed up. Instead, Wiggs would never score more than 47 points again. He still hasn't. But more importantly, everything possible went wrong from there. The rumors grew rampant. Wiggins didn't care about basketball. He had no killer instinct. He was just wasted talent. Simple as that. All of this was said just 1 year later in the 2018 season. And when it was said, of course, the basketball community largely gave up on Andrew Wiggins becoming any type of a real star. So what's up, guys? Mike here, and wouldn't you know it, this season, former number 1 overall pick Andrew Wiggins was named an NBA All-Star starter, and in the process, he proved everybody wrong, including myself. The thing is, though, the world didn't really celebrate. In fact, some people are still on Andrew Wiggins, saying that as a number 1 pick who gets paid as much as he does, he's supposed to be this good. Well, that raises into question just how impressive is this insane turnaround in Andrew Wiggins' career, and is Andrew Wiggins actually this good? Is he really this valuable to this Warriors team? Or is the real question, was Minnesota Timberwolves Andrew Wiggins really that bad? And when talking about number 1 picks, let's just jump into the ultimate here, the LeBron versus Andrew Wiggins comparisons. And I know LeBron is best case scenario, right? But LeBron is also exactly what you want out of a number 1 overall pick in theory. You want a guy who is going to be a superstar, a guy who can lift your franchise up, a guy who can win you a title. And looking at this comparison, I want to lock in on win shares. Now, win shares aren't perfect, but they are a solid indicator of what we know here, that LeBron took over that Cavaliers franchise and immediately turned them in the right direction, while Andrew Wiggins, well, 2 win shares for a starter is not good. And then when we expand this comparison to 4 seasons, we find that LeBron continued to rack up wins for the Cavaliers, while Wiggins did not, and thus was considered a failure in Minnesota. But not everyone is LeBron James, and sometimes it really is just a situation of getting drafted to a franchise that isn't good, a franchise that isn't going to develop you correctly. So what if we change our way of thinking? That makes things not so black and white. There are shades of gray. And before I get into this, I do want to make it clear, the goal of a number 1 pick is, of course, like I said before, to land that franchise talent that you can build around and win you a title. With that in mind, what I will say is this: just because you are the number 1 pick and you aren't a franchise superstar does not mean you don't add immense value to your franchise. By the way, guys, if you are enjoying this content, it would be awesome if you could subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never missed a video. And for now, let's get back into this video. A high value number 2 or number 3 guy can be just as important. At the end of the day, in the current NBA, your 1 through 3 guys are all going to get the max. But the thing is, look at how many number 1 stars we complain about not having enough talent around them. That was never the case with Andrew Wiggins. And because of this, because the Minnesota Timberwolves were still awful with Andrew Wiggins on the roster as a rookie, well, look what happened to Minnesota. They traded for the number 1 pick Andrew Wiggins in 2014, and then in 2015, the Timberwolves were picking number 1 again, where they took Karl Anthony Towns. To add on to this, just a fun scenario here, if you were to take that difference between LeBron and Andrew Wiggins in terms of win shares, if you took away 3 wins from LeBron's Cleveland Cavaliers team, they would have been in position to draft future NBA Finals MVP Andre Iguodala at pick number 8 in the 2004 draft. We could have had LeBron and Iggy teamed up. Instead, the Cavs ended up with Luke Jackson. So sure, Andrew Wiggins certainly did not jump out of the gate as an NBA superstar, and in Minnesota, he never got there. But with number 1 picks specifically, I feel like a lot of times the circumstances of that number 1 pick, aka how good the picks were after that pick, is just not talked about enough. So Andrew Wiggins was not an all-time top tier number 1 pick, but even as of right now, he's played both the most minutes and scored the most points of his entire draft class. class. So did he get a bad rep in Minnesota? I mean, here are 5 real number 1 pick draft busts from the 20 seasons before Andrew Wiggins was drafted. A guy like Greg Oden I left off because he had a massive injury. A guy like Kwame Brown, I'm sorry, I kept on. Sorry, Kwame, it's just true. Guys like Michael Olowokandi, they just were not as good as they should have been. They were true number 1 pick busts. And compared to what these guys were doing in their careers, when we add Andrew Wiggins, we can see that after 4 seasons, he stands out easily. And then for his career, it's not even close. I mean, let's take a deeper look at a guy like Michael Olowokandi from this list. Now, Steph Curry's 2022 All-Star game was historic, which is why I will say I'm pretty excited that I own number 11. Yes, number 11 of 1,168 moments on NBA Top Shot, who I want to thank for sponsoring today's video. And guys, looking at my personal collection, I think you could see, I believe going forward, NBA Top Shot is a must. It is an integral part of being an NBA fan in the future NBA community. Guys, I've got multiple rookie cards, including Anthony Edwards, Patrick Williams, all 4 of the top picks in last year's draft, including Cade Cunningham. Now on this Cade Cunningham rookie card, you could see that this card has various badges. These badges signify different things, such as rookie year, rookie mint. If you look at the Steve Nash vintage vibes card, you can see that there's an MVP logo here because this is from Steve Nash's MVP season. These badges certainly affect the value of a card, and also you can see that moments are sorted by tiers. Now some of the rookie cards are commons. The Steph Curry card that I love is actually a fandom card. Alex Caruso dunking on someone's face is a rare. They had a series where Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant voiced over their thoughts on certain NBA moments and players. And guys, we are going to do something right now together that I have not yet done, and that is we are going to take all of my moments from the marketplace that we have purchased, and we are going to put these moments into a group, which is a new function. Now I'm encouraging all of you right now, build your own groups. Here's my group. I think it is looking pretty nice. I mean, when it comes down to it, Top Shot to me is the new age future NBA posters / collectibles that kids are going to want on their walls growing up, that adults are going to want in their man caves to show off to their friends. You're going to tell me you don't want number 25 of LeBron James' first ever game-winning buzzer beater? Well, I have that moment right here. You can see it. I'm super hyped. I am super hyped. So thank you for Top Shot for sponsoring today's video. If you sign up for Top Shot, I highly suggest starting with a starter pack. You can pull a moment of a superstar like LeBron James or Steph Curry, or you can pull a moment from a star rookie like Evan Mobley or Cade Cunningham for just $9. And if you don't pull your favorite players from that starter pack, well then you can go to the marketplace to look for your favorite moments. So guys, if you go use my link right now to sign up and buy that $9 starter pack, Top Shot will give you $20 back to start building your collection. That is an absolutely awesome deal. So guys, go click that link, go sign up for Top Shot. Thank you, Top Shot, for sponsoring. And now let's get back into the video. I don't know if the Clippers or Mike looks worse in this story. Let me know what you think about this. So the 1999 season was delayed due to a lockout, and because of this, number 1 pick Michael Olowokandi signed a contract with an Italian team just 2 days before the lockout was resolved. How the Clippers let this happen, I have no idea, but what's even crazier is that Michael Olowokandi would play in 3 regular season games for the Italian team he signed with. It was then that he was cut, as after averaging just 4.7 points and 5.6 rebounds per game, the Italian team granted him an early release to sign back with the Los Angeles Clippers, as the team said that Michael Olowokandi was poorly conditioned and did not make a considerable impact. This was that year's number 1 pick in the draft. These are the busts though, these 5 guys. Andrew Wiggins was never a bust in this category. With that in mind though, I do want to go over just how much Wiggins has improved his game to fit in and really become the Warriors' secret weapon that I said in this title. Because I really believe he's the guy who's getting them over the championship hump here, if they do win. Jordan Poole's been insane. They need him too, yes, but they also need Steph, they also need Dre, they also need Klay. Championship teams need their key guys. At the end of the day though, what Andrew Wiggins has brought to this team, you just cannot replace. His defense from the wing position, his unique abilities to get to the basket, his crazy athleticism that made him a number 1 pick. These things allow Andrew Wiggins on a nightly basis to make an incredible impact for this Golden State Warriors team. I've seen people hate on the Andrew Wiggins comeback love. I've seen people say he's a number 1 pick with a giant contract. He's supposed to do this, but not every number 1 pick with a giant contract does what they're supposed to do. Some former number 1 picks have a very bad back, along with the love of looking like a starburst. Andrew Wiggins is not that guy. He's the guy that got the contract and has only worked harder since to prove everyone wrong. I mean, really, Andrew Wiggins has completely turned around his career, and this is an incredible thing. I mean, how many bus label players not only get it together, but also get it together in the best way possible? They get it together in an efficient, team-oriented way of basketball. Look at the stats. In Minnesota, Wiggins had an effective field goal percentage of about 48.5% in his 23.5 point per game season. That is just inefficient. Meanwhile, with the Golden State Warriors, that number has jumped up to 54%. Suddenly, Wiggs has cut out a lot of the ineffective mid-range jumpers that were ruining his efficiency and instead is focusing on what he does best on offense: shoot threes and finish at the rim. And that's where you can find him in Golden State Warriors games. It is right here that I want to address the softness question. Is Andrew Wiggins soft? That's all we heard in Minnesota. And doesn't Jimmy Butler think so? And why should we care what Jimmy Butler thinks? Well, NBA All-Star Jimmy Butler is a former teammate of Andrew Wiggins on the Timberwolves, but more importantly, is the centerpiece of the most absurd Woj tweet I've ever seen. You may think I'm exaggerating, but I mean, this is what Woj tweeted after Jimmy Butler's offseason drama surrounding the Timberwolves to begin the 2019 season went a bit too far. Butler was emotional at times, targeting Thibodeau, Layden, Towns, and Wiggins. At one point in a scrimmage, sources said, Butler turned to GM Scott Layden and screamed, "You need me. You can't win without me." Butler left teammates and coaches largely speechless. The previous season, the Minnesota Timberwolves had just made the playoffs for the first time in 13 years. I swear to you, this actually happened, which means the real question here is, how did things possibly go so far on a team that was winning? Who was to blame? Was it former #1 pick Andrew Wiggins? No. Mystery solved here. I dug into this. Let's just listen to what Andre Iguodala has to say. His words speak very loudly.
How good has Wiggins been the last month or so?
Wiggins ain't been good the last month. Wiggins has been good like the last 6 years in the NBA. Well, I think Wiggins is all-time Canadian scorer in the NBA. Best player out of Canada. I mean, that says a lot.
And the thing is, I agree. Here's where I just don't understand why people hate on Andrew Wiggins still, just because he's a #1 pick that has now just emerged. All of the time, we forget draft positioning in a second when someone breaks through and becomes better than when they were drafted. When Devin Booker was drafted, it is not shoved in our faces. But with #1 picks, things are certainly different, and for good reason. The thing is, if we look at the 2014 draft though, Embiid was going #1 in this draft if he was healthy, but he wasn't, and his health has certainly remained a concern. #2 pick Jabari Parker also had several horrible injuries of his own and has had a clearly lesser career than Wiggins. And then, other than Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic, who went number 41 and was not considered a top pick candidate, going down the list of the 2014 draft, no one really sticks out as definitely better than Andrew Wiggins, at least in my opinion. I love my guy Zach, and if you want to make an argument for him, you can for sure. But the point is, none of these guys are clear cut, other than Embiid and Jokic, better than Andrew Wiggins. None of these guys I would surefire at this point in time take over Wiggs, except maybe Zach. But still, with that in mind, #2 pick Jabari Parker has gotten 1/1000th of the bust hate Andrew Wiggins has gotten. That #1 pick label is extremely strong. I'm a fan though. I have been very, very excited to see Andrew Wiggins turn it around. I'm happy to see Wiggins doing well. I'm happy to see the Warriors doing well. With that said, guys, I really hope you do subscribe and turn on post notifications. We're in the middle of the NBA playoffs. We have a ton of big things coming. Trust me. Let's keep going on that road to 2 million subscribers. Let's get there together. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You're awesome. We all know it. And as always, have an awesome day, guys, and cue that music. If you're still here while the music is cued, here are 2 videos I think you are definitely going to enjoy. I mean, personally, I think the one on the left might be more your style, but the one on the right looks pretty awesome too. Click one, let me know what you think. And again, have an awesome day.